So welcome again. And we were able to talk about our favorite colors today and address any questions. And we had a fun time talking about various things. And in today's lecture is about learning technology. I'm just going to give you some overview and some tools that are in the trade for now. There's a lot more, but I will talk about a few of them so you have some knowledge of what they are. Then we'll take a 25-minute break. When we come back, we're going to go into groups and try out some of these learning technology tools. So you can say that you have learned something besides putting a proposal together about your learning technology and changing the organization culture to adapt your learning technology tool. So why is learning technology so popular nowadays? Well, there's a rapid growth of digital tools in academic setting because one of the many things that we're noticing is engagement. It feels really flat. And a lot of times when you are not trained to teach, or if you're not comfortable in front of a camera and also wearing a mic and looking at, because you have to look at the camera. So those of you who've been on stage and doing things, like you don't see any people, but you have to be looking at the camera and engaging. And you also have to provide a flexible environment that's inclusive and also safe for students to exchange ideas and um, be scalable, meaning even if you have 50 people in the class, are you able to engage everyone on a level where people feel like they're being heard? So these digital tools are allowing us to do more and also track, meaning collect data as well. So one of the first things that we're going to talk about in terms of learning management system or learning technology tool is LMS. So the most popular ones are Blackboard, Canvas, and Moodle. There are others out there, meaning I've used Sakai. WebCT used to be the precursor before Blackboard. There's little ones that are not as popular as Blackboard, Canvas, and Moodle that are out there. And what its function is to give a course an organization or a place where everyone is putting materials, announcement, quizzes, and grading to allow students and also faculty member to have a place where they're not confused. So for example, when you are emailing me on my regular email, I'm not necessarily going to remember if I'm doing a million one things that you're in my learning technology class. I may mistaken you for someone else. But in Canvas, what happens is, or LMS, it actually labels this student is in this class that's emailing you. So the benefit is that it's centralized. It also gives you streamlined communication. So you know that the person that you're communicating with is on that subject as opposed to something else. And then you're also able to track progress and performance through this integrated analytics system. So like I told you, I've been employed at over a dozen different universities all over the place. You name it, for-profit, nonprofit, community colleges, all the way to graduate schools. The metric is going to be very important and how the LMS is set up. I know there's some of you who are going to use LMS as one of your learning technology tools, and it has so many various features that it is so awesome to look at. Another one is synchronous learning tools. What is it? So we're utilizing one right now, Zoom. It wasn't as popular until we hit the the pandemic. Like I told you, I've been using Zoom since 2014, and that's why I've opted to use Zoom as opposed to Teams. Teams is another popular synchronous tool that you can use for synchronous conversations in classrooms, and another third popular one is Google Meet. There are other ones, WebEx, there's, remember Skype, we used to have that, but these are the most popular ones because they've been most adopted and utilized by various different industry. The benefit is that we don't have to cross oceans or fly anywhere. We could have real-time interaction without any lag compared to what it used to be. We also could do active learning through discussions that we have done before, and student engagement seems to be very high when there's trust and safety in the classroom. So that takes time. And also, you're able to get immediate feedback at the same time. I think as human beings, we like to visually see things, hear things, and also, for me, touch things as well to figure out what I'm trying to learn, what I'm trying to buy, etc. So another learning tool is what you call asynchronous tool. It means that you can go in at any time. However, you can actually see what everyone else is doing. Edpuzzle is one tool. Hypothesis is one that I have shown you before. So the news that I have in terms of Hypothesis is that I received an award of from Hypothesis. I was nominated and also won an award for Social Learning Innovator Award among like Rutgers, University of California, etc. And our school is also placed on their website. So I was quite excited about that as well. The flexibility, you can do this on your own. As you saw that you can annotate, you can also encourage critical thinking, you can ask questions, and also highlight different passages, not by yourself, but you're sharing it with others like social media. So it's asynchronous learning tool that could be a discussion board, etc. And the other type of learning technology tool that is very, very popular, of course, in primary, secondary, undergrad, as well as graduate, because I used to have a badging system in one of my classes in before coming here, and also in this university as well. We use badging as well in graduate classes. Is gamification. So either competitive or collaborative games where you are taking quizzes or doing some things, adventure. One of the benefit is you're in that competitive or cooperative mode where you're trying to complete some of the elements or compete and engage. And it requires you to be more active than be a passive listener. So sometimes some of these lectures where you're sitting and just listening, if you're tired, and of course, this is the last thing that you are doing at the end of the day, you can fall asleep. The other one is collaborative learning tools. What that is you are including all this stuff together. So a great example is Google Docs. So if you're doing group work, for example, it's love and hate relationship, right? So when I went back to school, I either loved group work or hated the group work just because we could never find the time to meet. There's only one or two people doing the work out of five people. So or sometimes you've been in groups where everybody's contributing, but you don't know. So the collaborative tool is when everyone is able to go in and either put feedback or their components in. And some of the examples are Padlet, Google Docs, and OneDrive. Like I said, this is not a comprehensive list, but one of the popular ones. It promotes teamwork. Also, you can see multiple people having different ideas to come up with to meet that goal. So it is very, very effective in various different settings. Another one that you're going to see is AI and adaptive learning tools. Like I said, it's by no means this is a comprehensive list, but one of the AI learning tools is that it's personalized learning path. Right now, in medicine and also in education, one of the things that we're looking at is personalizing your learning experience. So those of you who are coming in with some basic knowledge, the AI is going to help you to kind of figure out where you're missing and how to make your learning experience better. So it's tailored content for you based on performance. So we're collecting the metrics or analytics in your learning management system and looking at student successes and looking at the gaps to provide more support. So let's say academic writing is something that you need help with, but everyone else in the class is further along just because our program is not a cohort model. It's a rolling admission, meaning that you're in classes with someone whose first class is my class, or it could be your fifth or sixth class that you're taking. So, how do you level that playing ground? And AI is able to do that. And like I said, this is by no means a running list. I was talking to another colleague of mine, and they told me that Hopkins and Stanford are working on some AI tools to help you do some of these academic research better. So if I get those link, I'll share that with you because it sounds like a really cool tool. Another learning technology tool that is very, very popular, especially in some of the medical fields, as well as, of course, comp sci and some of the scenario based field, is augmented reality and virtual reality. So there are ways to create virtual reality or augmented reality. When I went to back to school, like I said, one of my specialty is in telehealth, and one of the projects that we had to work on is actually do an augmented reality and code something where we're able to wear our glasses and develop this augmented reality of where the patient would go in terms of getting admitted into the hospital, etc. So there's some of the links there, and it's immersive learning. So if you have done AR and VR before, I actually went to Apple Store to try on those glasses to just to see like what is the hype. Oh my goodness, I've never seen something like that before. So um, it allows you to be in situations where it's dangerous, for example. So in my field, it's like asking people to investigate an anthrax outbreak, right? It's deadly and you have to be wearing a hazmat suit, etc. But using virtual reality, you're able to go through that scenario and teach someone what do you do first, what do you do second. And so, any dangerous situation, you can do that. Any folks who are doing something complicated, so surgery, for example, you could do it in augmented or virtual reality as a resident or medical student. And for us, we can create a world where we're doing some applications like STEM students can practice their real world skills in a virtual environment to see what happens. So either a complex lab or field work to show what we can do. Another thing that I experienced over the pandemic is going to church in virtual reality setting. So we were all wearing our glasses, the meta glasses. I forgot. Oh, I forgot what they're called again, but they're much, much cheaper than the Apple, of course. And we were able to kind of try out some of these things. Another learning technology tool is what's really hot off the market is digital storytelling. A lot of people want to tell their story. And if you're teaching, it's always good to infuse your experience and story of yourself or others to talk about different concepts. learning experience, etc. So even when I asked you about your color, I shared my personal story with you on why I like that color orange or burnt orange, right? So digital storytelling is very powerful. So you could use Adobe Spark. There's other ones. Story Center is one of the organizations that helps you to figure out how to talk about your visual um, or digital stories if you want to get some training. I've gone through them before and they were pretty reasonable. And in terms of if you've never done it before, it gives you, they have some free courses that you can also enroll in. And of course, you have the internet as well. So it creates, if you are very artsy and creative and you want to infuse that with your work, I highly recommend it just because it helps with critical thinking. For me, it helps with stress as well, because as much as I love writing, I also kind of miss creating something different than just writing. So it also enhances digital literacy as well. So those of you who don't like public speaking or giving speeches or doing a lot of things that is audio and visual, this is a really good practice just because by the end of the day, your dissertation proposal defense is a presentation. It is, you have to tell your story in a compelling way, and of course, academic way as well. And then also, it helps you to practice your craft and also your story, depending on your audience. Um, the student response system, what does this mean? Well, we use this in those of you who've been in classroom settings before. You get these clickers, and I used to do this when I had big classrooms where you hand out all the clickers and you have questions on the screen, and the students are clicking A, B, C, D. So you are collecting data from the student real time. Poll Everywhere is another tool that you can do it online, where you can use your phone or also computer for participants to participate, and it gives you instant feedback engagement, especially in a large crowd. So when I used to teach a class of 200 students, there's no way that I can speak to every single student because that'll be the whole class time. So these clickers are wonderful because it was geared towards, certain groups of people at certain points during the lecture to ensure that they have engagement. So it also enhances interaction because you have to pay attention, especially in a large classroom or online setting. Um, Another one, it is, if you haven't done this before, mind mapping and visualization tool. I know Dr. Ortiz is really big on this. And some of our other faculty members on the team is visualizing your, like, what's on your mind. So if you've done logic models or um, let's see, your vision board, if you, it's not academic, but it's very similar to kind of putting your thoughts in a visual format where you're kind of linking things together. You can use Lucidchart, MindMeister, and Coggle are some of the popular ones. And it allows you to clarify some complex concepts. So you probably have seen, if you're on TikTok or social media, you've probably seen advertisements for mind mapping or visualization. It encourages creative ways to problem solve. So it visually allows you to brainstorm and out of the box thinking, meaning you have different people putting different ideas and you could see connections in different areas. And that's what I love about um, being in our department, just because just talking to all of you, you're coming from different walks of life, and it allows us to have complex ideas with simple solutions when we come together. So anything visual is great. So e-portfolio tools, this is used a lot, especially in health professionals, humanities, and also arts. There's a platform called these are different platforms where students are scanning in their artwork. If you're an artist, if you are a writer, you have different portfolios where they electronically hold all your stuff together. For public health, for instance, they have public health campaigns or practicums and things that they have to do, and they will put all those things in there. For all of you, what you're, we don't have this for students, I wish we did, is all your conference presentations, all your, like, for example, if you go on a podcast or if you're in a newspaper or etc., you can put all those things in as media, you know, journals, presentations at a national, state, international, local, etc. And it allows us to kind of get a snapshot of your professional development and your learning process pretty quickly, as opposed to just looking at your transcript. And it allows you to track your long-term growth for the students as well as the professionals. So you can see this over time, and especially if you are in your arts arena, you'll see the progression of your theme and improvement over time. So I was talking to a drama teacher who uses this platform, and they were talking about the growth of their student from the first day of classes to all the way to the end of the graduation, right? To look at the progression of not only their acting, but also their playwriting and their, you know, whatever they're doing, they could see the progression and how much they have done. Another thing that is really awesome with learning technology tool is accessibility and inclusion tools. You've noticed that you can turn on the captioning when I'm speaking in Zoom. So you're able to do that. And Otter AI is one of them. There's a whole list of other accessibility and inclusion tools, but I know a lot of people are familiar with Otter AI, so I put it there. But it means that students with disabilities or neurodivergent conditions, for example, they have different ways to learn, and also language barriers. So some of you, English might be your second, third, fourth language. So sometimes it is easier to have these translations to just make sure that you are indeed hearing what you're hearing. So it provides more inclusive and accessible environment where people feel like they belong, right? They don't have to hide who they are when they're in the classrooms. Another cool thing is, like I told you, that learning management system like Blackboard and Canvas and Moodle have their analytics in the background, but also they have some standalone tools and companies that come in and look at learning analytics. So meaning they collect all the data, all the clicks, how long you stay on different modules, how long you look at different things, and also how you do on assignments and quizzes, etc. And it gives you the journey of how they're doing. And it allows you to improve the learning outcomes by analyzing each individual data and then figuring out where the help point should be as opposed to just earning the grade. So so there's if the learning platform doesn't have the analytics, there's a way to do that. The thing right now is this. I'm talking about all this learning technology tools right now, and all of them and many of them are going to become obsolete. I hate to say it. And I know many of these companies are probably on the edge right now because of AI. Um, Hopefully all those platforms, AI is here to stay. It's not going away. The government is pouring lots of money in it. I just went to a talk last week on AI in government as well. and there's white papers and papers coming out the wazoo on AI from various different sectors, that it is going to be infused in every single aspect, including the learning technology tools. So my advice that I'm going to give to all of you is to kind of what you're doing, learning the basics of AI, and also being immersed in that learning technology tool that you have decided to adopt. A lot of you have used AI, which I thought you would, because it is popular. But if you haven't, think about how AI can help with the learning technology tool, just because, like I said, it's not going to keep up with the large data analytics, and it's feeding into AI to make the products better. That LMS, all these collaborative tools are infusing AI into all their platforms. So what we're going to do today after the lecture is probably go into groups and kind of try out some of these tools. I'll give you a list of the learning technology tools that you can take a look. And my call to action to all of you as educators and also students of our program is to always explore and integrate tools to foster an innovative and engaging learning environment. You're not using these tools in place of, but like an augment or enhancement of what you're doing. I think one of the things that I'm seeing with the older generation is that AI is taking over. They can't, because it's not as sophisticated. Even when I looked at CDC and talked to folks at the CDC, they use AI. They were telling me basically they have announcement they put up about a couple of days ago saying we use Gen AI for our websites, our public announcements, etc. But we use humans to fact check, to make sure it's reliable and it's truthful. So they are professors and also people who are not into AI right now. So we do, and I do respect their opinions, but I just don't want anyone to miss the boat and feel like it's too overwhelming to learn later on. So thank you again. I'm going to stop the recording.